Hey y'all, how y'all doing out there today? Shaheed Ice Cream, I'm back with another video. Because on Friday, I released a video on domestic abuse and the myths around domestic abuse. And as usual, it cut off. So I'm back to hopefully get a chance to start off where I left off. But before that, I just want to go over two news breaks on domestic violence that I saw on August the 4th. But before that, I want to show y'all my shirt. I'm a proud grandmother of my grandson who graduated in June from high school. And he's on his way to college, my grandson Malcolm. I'm a proud grandmother, and his sister graduates from LaSalle University next year. So everybody give them a hand. I'm so proud. And my granddaughter will be 21 this month. She has her own place. She has a new car. And she doesn't have any children, and she's in college. Yay! I'm so proud of her. So, y'all, let me get to this before it cuts off. Now, on my phone, I have the Newsbreak app. And every time I go on there, just about, so much about domestic violence cases. So, I want to, as I'm going on talking about domestic violence, I just want to, as well as giving you different movies, videos, and all to watch, I'm also going to talk about different news breaks and different things I see in the media. So you know this stuff is real. I know sometimes y'all see this stuff on the news, on Facebook or what have you, and you'll read through it and say, oh, that's a shame or whatever. And while these same things are going on probably in your own household or in other family members or close friends that you know. So that's why I'm doing all this. I want to bring it to your attention because it's a very, very serious situation. It's happening more and more now. And it's becoming more and more violent. And it's involving the children even more. So please take the time to look at these videos and understand where I'm coming from. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a survivor of domestic violence for many, many years. And this is no joke. So before we get an episode of the phone cutting off, the camera cutting off again, I'm going to get right into it. Now, like I said, on August 4th, I was on Newsbreak, and I ran across two incidents when there was many more, but I chose these two for now. And according to a police report, a man in Nevada left his toddler in a hot car while he gambled in a casino. Now, it said that before he went to the casino, he dropped his sister off at home or somewhere. I didn't write everything concerning this incident, but the second one I'm going to talk about, I did write everything because this is just too much. But my thoughts was, now, first of all, I don't know if this man was used to having his toddler in the car with him, if maybe the mom works, or does he have custody or what? Because I know this man knew what he was doing. He knew the child was in the car. He didn't forget. It's not like someone that's not used to taking a child and dropping them off at daycare and they forget they're in the back seat. I don't even see how that happens because you can see through the rear mirror, hopefully, and see that the child is back there. Isn't the child making a sound unless it's asleep? Or when you get out, do you look that way and see the child is back there? But anyway, so this is another case of domestic abuse. He left his toddler in a hot car while he gambled in a casino. What was so important that he had to go gambling and leave his child, his baby? They can't help themselves. said he did leave the window cracked about probably that much. But still, anything could have happened. Anybody could have came along, pried the door open, took the baby out. There are child and baby snatchers out here. They could have found a way to steal a car with the child in it. Car could have just blew up like sometimes that happens. Anything could have happened. It's nothing so important that you're going to leave your toddler or your child in the car while you go in a casino. So the second case I ran across too, according to the police, now this is something, y'all, and it's true. According to the police, an Indiana woman killed her husband and she asked her kids to help dispose of his body. She was charged with the July 27th murder of her husband. Now, the Times of Northwest Indiana reported she also faces 2 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor by asking them to help her dispose of the body. Abuse of a corpse, because she moved the body and all the stuff she did to it. Alteration of a death scene, and 2 counts of neglect of a dependent. So according to court documents, she also faces misdemeanor interference with the reporting of a crime that the newspaper reported. She's age 34. She asked her 2 teenage children to help dispose of the body. Now, this is something these kids will never ever forget. They probably go to sleep at night, lay down at night, and be dreaming about these things. This is something that'll carry on with these kids probably forever. So she was also accused of fatally shooting her husband and partially dismembering his body. And this is something that's happening even more and more. Not only do they dismember the bodies of their boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse, or whatever, they're doing it to the children now also. So the children were younger than 16. So the South Bend Tribune reported she contacted a former boyfriend of whom she had a child by, and she said that her husband had been beating his son, her ex-boyfriend, who she also had a child by. She called him and told him that her husband had been beating his son. The Times also reported. So the man said the accuser showed him her husband's body in a closet. See, she told him this, hoping that he would help her dispose of the body. So the newspaper also reported this, that according to police, the ex-boyfriend refused to help her place her husband's body in a chair, but he refused. He refused to help her place her husband's body in a car, but he refused to do it. This is what she wanted him to help her, to place his body in a car. So that's why she lied and said, I imagine she lied, I don't know, but she told the ex-boyfriend that her husband had abused his child. So the children told police that their mother came home on that Friday with cleaning supplies and an axe, and later asked them to help place the body in a tote bag. The body was too heavy for the trio to move him. So the children said their mother planned to drive the body to another location. When she was caught, she said that her husband beats her. Now, first she told the ex-boyfriend that her husband beats his child, but she told the police that her husband beats her, but she never mentioned nothing about the child. So according to court documents, the accuser confessed to shooting her husband after a physical altercation. Police said she kept her husband's body in her daughter's bedroom closet, which was recovered by authorities. She then admitted she had to cut her husband's legs off because he wasn't able to fit him inside the tote, police said. So that goes to show that she had a lot of problems going on. A lot of mental problems going up there. A lot of mental problems. So according to a court document, she stated that she panicked and did not know what to do after she had shot him. She stated she used an axe to cut his legs off. An autopsy revealed the accuser sustained a gunshot wound to the right arm that entered his chest and his abdomen and in his stomach. The Times reported, which doctors said most likely left the victim unable to move as he bled to death. She is being held in jail without bail, and her initial appearance in court is scheduled for Friday. So I wish that I could follow up on that and see what happens with her, what she's going to be sentenced with. So, what do I have here? I have, okay, it's the mother, the children, and the stepdad. So, as you can see, there's a lot of abuse that's going on in the home. And if the mother could go through all that she did to get rid of her husband, imagine what was going on before this even took place. So now the children are left with no mom, no dad, and not even a stepdad. Because now the mom is going to be in jail, the dad is dead, and the stepdad, the mom will be in jail, the dad is dead, and well, her ex-boyfriend, he's not really a stepdad because he wasn't in their life, he wasn't with them. So they'll have no mom and no dad. I hope they have some grandparents or someone in the family that's willing to take care of them. But you see what happens? You see what happens when you're living in a violent home where there's a lot of abuse going on, and you don't want it to escalate. You don't want it to escalate. You don't want it to go from a pushing or a hollering at the person screaming or a little slap or whatever. You don't want it to escalate into harder slaps, punches, kicks, and possibly death. Because you're not only, it's not only hurting you and the abuser, because hopefully eventually he's going to be dealt with in prison, but it's bothering the whole family. The whole family has to deal with this in one way or another. So, the fact that she asked to help dispose of the body by the children, this is domestic child abuse. To put them in that environment, let alone ask them to help dispose of the body. This is something that these children will never ever forget, along with their embarrassment and the humiliation from their friends and other people. They're not going to want to hold their head up in school and other events when this gets out, what their mom has done. So, this mental abuse will follow them for some time. Because would they ever think that their mom could ever commit a crime like this, y'all? I don't know. So before the phone cuts off again, I want to just tell y'all to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll be notified of another video. And if it was to cut off, I'll just have to start back where I left off. So I'm going to jump right into myth 3. Domestic abuse always involves physical violence. Domestic abuse does not always include physical violence, according to the Women's Aid. It defines domestic abuse as an incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, coercive, threatening, degrading, and violent behavior, including sexual violence by a partner or ex-partner. These incidents can include coercive control, which is psychological and or emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, harassment, stalking, and or online or digital abuse. Okay, now, myth number 4. He can be a good father even if he abuses his partner. So the parent's relationship doesn't have anything to do with the effect of the child. Meaning that even if he's an abuser to a significant other or even another family member, it doesn't necessarily mean that he will abuse his children. So, let's see. That was number 4. So in reality, an estimated 90% of children whose mothers are abused, they witness the abuse. The effects are traumatic and long-lasting when a child witnesses domestic abuse. This is called child abuse. Between 40% and 70% of these children are also direct victims of the abuse, which is happening at home. To find out more about children and domestic abuse, join our Child First campaign. So, let's see here. And I'm try to get through myth 5, and then I'll come back with another video on the rest. So, myth number 5 is that she provoked him. But in reality, this myth is widespread and deep-rooted. It is often based on the belief that the man is the head of the family and that his role is to punish his partner or children if they get in a way he doesn't approve of, if they act in a way that he doesn't approve of. So the myth is dangerous because any reference to provocation means that we are blaming the woman and relieving the abuser of responsibilities for his actions. So the abuse or violence of any kind is never the victim's fault. Responsibility always lies on the perpetrator, and it lies on him alone. No one deserves to be hit. No one. So, I think I'm going to stop there, and I'll come back with myth number 6, that domestic violence is a private family matter and not a social issue. Well, I just want to say this much. Maybe it used to be a private matter back in the day, but ain't nothing private about it no more. You gotta open your mouth. You gotta say something. You gotta let people as well as yourself know that there is help out there. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to be scared. There's many, many people that's going through the same thing. Men, women, and children. And before this video cuts off again, I want to give you the number of the national hotline number. You can call that number and they can get you in touch with the domestic abuse organization in your area. The number is 1-800-799-SAFE, S-A-F-E. And there you can get help with shelter. You can get help with legal issues. They have support groups. So it doesn't have to be, you know, if you report this, if you need help, there's someone out there that would help you. You don't have to stay cowered in your house afraid of this and that. Get to a safe place and call for help. Call the police. They can help you with criminal complaints. They can refer you to the domestic abuse organization in your area. So if you just see, you know, don't let it escalate if it's happening to you. Once that person starts smacking you and pushing you around, that's a red flag right there. If they start talking to you harshly and trying to control you, that's red flags right there. So y'all, like I said before, I can just go on and on and on about this subject, but I'm going to cut it off right now before it cuts me off. Y'all know how it goes. But I just wanted to come back with some more on this topic of challenging the myths, NYTHS, of domestic violence, because it cut off with the last video. But I will be back with more. And like I said, I hope you're paying attention, because this stuff is real. Just because it's not happening to you, or just because you don't think it's happening to you, it's good information so you can see the sign for others as well as yourself. So with that being said, I just want to thank God for not letting this video cut off like that. And until I come back with another video, I just want to tell y'all I love y'all. Thanks for looking and listening and putting up with my mistakes. Peace.